Yeah. And right now, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. And I just wanted to give my take on everything and my show of support for the movement and what it is. For most of you who listen to the music only, you may not have realized it, but I am someone that does identify as Black, as an African American, and living in this country of America has been a very different experience for me as a Black individual. I've had to go through a lot in combating my own bouts of racism as well as racism towards me, and to stay on topic with what the movement, what it actually means to me. It's more than just Black Lives Matter. I feel like this is one of the essential steps towards understanding and gaining a general respect for humanity overall, because in my opinion, the level of discrimination and blatant racism that the Black community, my community, has had to face, there's no reason for it to exist. There's no logical reason for it to exist. There's no spiritual reason for it to exist. There's no emotional reason for it to exist. It simply has gone on for far too long, and it's because of something like this weird insanity that I feel, where other people will just believe that they're better than someone else off of something as meaningless as skin color or where someone is born or where we're from. It's something that does definitely need to stop, and I'm speaking out today on it to encourage everyone who's listening to this, and even to the people who aren't listening to it, to speak out as well. This is a different age. We are in the age of communication, and with communication comes the understanding of different perspectives. And with the understanding of different perspectives, we can create a better, more unified form of peace. We do not have to repeat the mistakes of our past generations or of those who have come before us, and we definitely do not have to repeat any of the discriminations and disrespects that have occurred with everything that's going on, and with us seeing with our own two eyes the well, I would like to correct that. It's more than just seeing it. It's just that now there's no way that you can ignore it. Before, it was always easy for people to find their form of a distraction from what's really going on in the world. But thanks to the advent of social media, thanks to people being willing to actually talk to others around the world about the injustices that they're facing, and it's thanks to people willing to speak out about when they've been wronged and not just staying silent, that change can come and change can be permanent as we move towards a better peace. And with all of that, like, a lot of us have seen the George Floyd video. If you aren't aware, there was a video of an officer kneeling on a man's neck using excessive force in order to murder this man and take his life 100% unjustly. And the premise of what I perceive the premise of the Black Lives Matter movement to be is first to gain justice for both George Floyd and also towards all the other lives that have been lost towards police murder and police brutality, which it's not. This is the one thing that I feel like we all have to understand. This isn't something that will only affect the Black community. Injustices like this, if left to continue, which is not a choice anymore, we cannot let this continue anymore. This is something that affects each and every single culture, each and every single person in this world that we share. And the change that I personally believe needs to come is that we need to continue to be more vocal about the things that harm us, about the instances that hurt us. We can't fall into silence or complacency. And I understand for me and for a lot of people in my community, it is very difficult to speak out against everything that has gone wrong, all the times that we've been hurt unjustly, all the times that we've been treated differently, not because of our character, not because of our personality, but simply because of foolish judgments that others make as soon as they do see us. And we have to put a stop to it. But what does putting a stop to it mean? Is it just going to be another set of laws that could be wiped under the books? Is it an actual arraignment for cops and officers who do these crimes? I think this is a part of it. It's a part of the solution, but in general, I feel that we have to change the world culture, and we have to change the world's perspective on what a human is. I don't believe that you can be a human when you degrade another person who was born with a brain, who was born with a heart, just like you were born with a brain and just like you were born with a heart. You cannot subject them to unfair treatment based off of only the color of their skin and based off of only where they come from, or based off of the culture that they may or may not have been raised in. You have to give everyone a fair chance and a fair shake at the opportunities that are present in this world. And we have to be willing to speak openly about every time that this does and doesn't happen. I personally feel that one of the greatest things about this moment in the movement, with these protests that are going on, and also in conjunction with an actual pandemic, a viral pandemic that's also occurring coincidingly with it, is that people are talking to one another. People aren't afraid. Well, I won't say that we aren't afraid, but we're working through our fears in order to show what's really happening to us. And we're being more vocal now than we ever were before. And we have to make sure that that keeps on going and that we don't become silent and that we don't forget any of the names of anyone who was lost because of this level of systemic oppression that's been going on for far too long, for far too many centuries. So I implore everyone who has listened to this or who are still listening to this to please stay safe out there, fight and fight in your own way or as you know best. And although you may be afraid, because with times like these, we might all be a little afraid. Don't let that stop you from speaking out or speaking also to your friends, to your family, to your coworkers, being willing to have these conversations. I feel like that's going to be the actual key to eliminating racism and discrimination based off of skin color and off of ethnicity and off of just where a person was raised. Like the key to stopping all of this is having these conversations and being willing to take action in order to ensure that no one is discriminated against. All right, I'm gonna probably stop now and stop rambling, but though that's just my two piece. And yeah, this will not be the last talk that I have or probably will post on the subject of more than just Black Lives Matter, just in general about what humanity means to me personally. But yeah.